To the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that, well, it might bring to mind old traditions, but it's actually proving to be a real game changer for modern businesses. Registered apprenticeships.
hmm
You've shared some really compelling material, and we're excited to explore what this can mean for you, the listener. Forget that outdated image, of apprenticeships being just for massive corporations or only within union shops.
Right.
We're going to dive into how this model can be surprisingly flexible and, frankly, a powerful asset for businesses of all shapes and sizes
hmm
across a huge range of industries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our goal today is to give you a clear picture of what a modern apprenticeship program looks like, the very real advantages it can bring to your company, and maybe address some of those common misunderstandings that might be holding you back.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, I think, is how the traditional view just often misses the strategic value they offer today. It's not just about filling entry-level spots.
Right.
It's really about building a talent pipeline, fostering a culture of continuous learning that can really resonate through the whole organization.
And something that immediately jumped out from the info you shared.
Yeah.
A significant 78% of employers reported an improvement in product or process innovation after putting an apprenticeship program in place. 78%.
Yeah.
That's a number that makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
What's the connection there? How do apprenticeships actually lead to, more innovative companies?
Well, that statistic points to a really fascinating dynamic. When you integrate people who are actively in a learning mindset within your specific operational context, they often bring a fresh perspective just because they're not entrenched in the old ways of doing things, right?
Okay, makes sense.
Because they're learning from the ground up. They might spot areas for improvement or more efficient approaches that maybe long-term employees who might be operating a bit on autopilot
Yeah.
might overlook. Think of it like this. Someone new might just ask, why do we do it this way? And that simple question can sometimes spark a really needed reevaluation. That leads to innovation. Plus, the act of your experienced team members mentoring apprentices, that can also stimulate innovation. They reflect on their own practices, look for better ways to explain things.
That's a great way to put it. It's like having a built-in mechanism for continuous improvement, fueled by fresh eyes and renewed engagement from your existing team.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things that really stood out is this idea of flexibility and customization. It's not a rigid, off-the-shelf program, is it?
Absolutely not. And that's a key strength, especially today, with how fast things change. Registered apprenticeship programs, particularly the way an organization like, say, the Machinist Institute designs them, they're centered around your specific needs. The process starts with really identifying the precise skill sets, the requirements for the jobs within your company. They emphasize they're very adaptable in pinpointing those targeted needs and then creating training that's not just tailored to you, but also provides skills that are transferable across the industry.
So it's valuable for the apprentice, too, beyond just my company.
Right. It's a great combination, specific relevance for you, but broader applicability for the individual. Real career building.
So even if my business is in a very specialized niche, they can still create something that aligns.
Exactly. And this adaptability isn't just a one-time setup. The curriculum can be updated, adjusted to keep pace with your changing needs and, the rapid tech changes we see everywhere.
Got to stay current.
This agility ensures the training stays cutting edge and your apprentices are getting the most relevant skills for your business now and down the road.
Okay, that sounds promising. Now, setting something like this up,
Yeah.
it might seem like a huge undertaking, right? Lots of admin work, potentially. But the info suggests it might be more manageable.
That's a common worry, yeah. And it's where the support structure really shines. What's particularly noteworthy is that organizations like the Machinist Institute explicitly say they handle the, quote, lion's share of the administrative duties.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that can be a huge weight off an employer's shoulders, especially, smaller businesses without big HR departments. They manage a lot of the paperwork, the logistics, stuff that could otherwise be a major barrier.
So they don't just hand you a template, they actively help implement it.
Precisely. They emphasize working closely with training partners to facilitate that crucial on-the-job training piece. The goal is smooth integration into your operations, not disruption.
Okay.
They want it to feel like a natural extension of your workplace, not an added burden on production or your team's time. And maybe most importantly, admin-wise, they handle all the necessary reporting requirements.
Wow.
Which can be complex and time-consuming on its own.
That sounds like a massive benefit. Okay, now, I'm thinking beyond just bringing in new folks. What if I have a solid team, but maybe we've identified some areas where skills could be stronger, or there's like inconsistency in how things are done? Can apprenticeships help there?
Absolutely. That's a key point. Apprenticeships aren't just for onboarding new hires. They can be a very effective tool for upskilling or reskilling your current employees.
Hmm.
Think of it as a structured, recognized pathway to ensure a more consistent, higher level of skill across your existing workforce. You pinpoint those gaps and provide targeted training to bring everyone up to a defined standard.
That's a really valuable perspective. I hadn't fully considered applying it to our existing team like that.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about how the learning actually happens. It's not all classroom lectures, right? I remember that 80-20 model.
Yes, exactly. The core of the model is heavily weighted towards practical, hands-on experience. That's the 80%. The apprentice learns by doing,
Yeah.
directly on your machines in your environment.
Oh.
That immersive practical work is where the real skill development clicks. The other 20% is typically the theoretical instruction, the foundational knowledge, the context for what they're learning on the job.
Right.
It's like, learning to swim. You can read about it, but the real learning happens in the water.
And who's doing that theoretical part? Is it just online courses or?
Typically not just that. The Machinist Institute, for instance, really emphasizes their instructors come from the industry. They call them the best of the best people who've mastered their fields through real-world experience.
Oh, well,
So the theory isn't just abstract concepts, it's grounded in application. Instructors bring their deep understanding, their hard-earned skills. They bridge that gap between theory and practice. You're learning the why from people who've mastered the how.
that makes a huge difference, learning from pros who've actually done it. Now, there's this common belief, and I've heard it too, that apprenticeships are mainly for union trades, construction, that sort of thing. But the info you shared seems to push back on that.
That's a really prevalent misconception, yeah. And it largely stems from the long, successful history in the building trades, where unions have been huge advocates and administrators.
Right.
But as the Machinist Institute clearly states, the model is not confined to union shops.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. It's a versatile framework that works for any business committed to developing skilled talent, regardless of its labor structure.
So if my business is non-union, there's zero reason to think this isn't a viable option.
None whatsoever. The fundamental principles structured on-the-job training plus related instruction, they deliver benefits in both settings. The focus is on getting the skills your business needs.
Okay, good to clarify. So if I'm now intrigued, thinking about taking that first step, what does that actually involve? Is it super complex, lots of red tape?
According to the information, the initial step is surprisingly straightforward. It's mainly signing a training agent agreement. This agreement basically formalizes your commitment as an employer to provide work opportunities and a supportive environment for an apprentice to develop skills at your company. It's the foundational piece.
That sounds much less daunting than I might have imagined. Not a huge, irreversible commitment right off the bat.
It's a clear statement of intent, yeah. Your intent to participate and provide the right conditions. Then the detailed curriculum gets developed with the training provider.
Got it. Now let's dig into the real returns for the business. We touched on innovation, which is fascinating, but what other concrete benefits can a business expect?
Oh, the advantages are quite substantial, definitely beyond just innovation. The data points to a remarkable 93% of apprentices staying with their sponsoring company after finishing the program.
93%, wow.
Yeah, that's a huge boost to workforce stability. And think about the cost savings on recruitment and turnover. You're essentially investing in and cultivating loyal, skilled workers from within.
That's an incredibly compelling statistic. What other tangible benefits feed into the company's success?
Well, the info also highlights potential for significant internal growth. When you bring in new talent via apprenticeships, you naturally create pathways for your experienced staff to step into mentorship, maybe supervisor roles. This isn't just good for their careers, enhancing their engagement and retention, but it also leverages their knowledge to train the next generation. And as your skilled pool grows, it directly fuels business growth and ultimately profitability.
And it sounds like it's not just about the numbers either. There's a positive effect on workplace culture.
Exactly. The data suggests a noticeable increase in morale among those journey workers, your seasoned pros who take on mentoring. There's a real sense of fulfillment in sharing expertise, guiding new talent. This more positive, supportive culture then reinforces loyalty and helps retention across the board.
So it creates this positive feedback loop. More skills, better morale, less turnover, all helping the bottom line. Now, thinking about day-to-day operations, does having apprentices potentially create more challenges with flexibility, like scheduling or coverage?
Actually, the evidence points the other way. By strategically training apprentices across a range of key skills, you build a more versatile, adaptable workforce.
Okay.
If someone's out sick or on vacation, you have others who can step in, maintain the workflow, minimize disruptions. It actually enhances your operational flexibility.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a more cross-trained team is always a plus. Now, we've focused a lot on the company benefits, but the material also touched on the profound impact on the individuals themselves. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, and this is really important. I think it speaks to the broader value. The testimonials and data show how these opportunities can be genuinely life-changing. They provide a clear path to financial stability, letting people achieve major goals like buying a home. One example highlighted a single parent, the steady income, the skill development. It can be transformative, not just for them, but for their family's stability, their future. It creates positive ripples in communities.
It really is more than just a job then. It's a structured pathway to a more secure future.
That's powerful. Okay, so what if someone listening is thinking, this sounds great, but my specific industry or the job I need trained, it's not traditionally linked with apprenticeships. Are they out of luck?
Not at all. In fact, organizations like the Machinist Institute actively encourage employers in that exact spot to reach out, explore the possibilities.
Okay.
They emphasize their commitment to innovation, their willingness to look at adding new emerging occupations to their models. They see themselves as partners in workforce development and are open to figuring out how they can adapt their framework for unique needs.
So even if I think my situation is a bit unusual for an apprenticeship, it's still worth a conversation. Absolutely. Their proactive approach, their collaborative mindset, those are key strengths.
Yeah.
They know the modern economy needs diverse skills, and they're willing to explore new frontiers in training.
Okay, let's try and synthesize all this for our listeners. What are the key takeaways for them as business owners or leaders thinking about registered apprenticeships?
Well, I think the core message is this. Registered apprenticeships are a flexible, surprisingly manageable, and really effective strategy for cultivating a skilled, loyal workforce tailored precisely to your business needs.
Right.
They offer a structured way to fix skill gaps in your current team while also building a pipeline of new talent. And it's not just filling jobs, it's about actively fostering innovation and continuous improvement.
Uh-huh.
Crucially, these programs are accessible, all sizes, all sectors, union or non-union, and there's significant admin support available to make it easier.
So, considering all of that, the amazing retention data, the potential for innovation, the positive impact on people's lives, here's a final thought for you to consider. How might a registered apprenticeship program unlock untapped potential within your organization? How could it contribute to a more resilient, adaptable, and, well, ultimately more successful future? What specific skill gaps could this proven model help you bridge? And what new opportunities for growth might pop up as a result of investing in this pathway to talent development?
Yeah.
It's definitely an avenue worth exploring in detail.